Hey, welcome to week 6. This is a quick orientation video, once again, just to introduce what's going on this week and to give you some of those resources that will be helpful. So mainly I'll be talking about how to get in on your feedback session, the dates of that, and where to get into the room, what you need, those sorts of details. So here's a reminder of the feedback meeting schedule that was set for each of the 4 groups. You'll notice that your name is there on the screen beside a group name and a date and time for the feedback meeting. So Group A, Wednesday, June 7th, between 1 and 4 p.m. local time. Group B, Thursday, June 8th in the afternoon between 1 and 4 p.m. Group C, later on in the evening time between 6 and 9 p.m. on Thursday, June 8th. You'll be joining me. And Group D will wrap things up on Friday, June 9th in the morning between 9 and noon. So find your name, make sure that you have that in your calendar, and we will be meeting in a Blackboard Collaborate UE space. If you're looking for a quick reminder about your meeting time, date, and location, you can always head from the ISWO homepage to mini lesson access. Don't be alarmed by seeing 2 different groups here. What you should see on your own page is your group, specific to a view just for you, your group letter, the feedback meeting date, and a link to the Collaborate space, your facilitator's name, and then the list of everyone who's in that group. So this link here is just one of the ways in which you might access the Collaborate UE space that's been set up for your group. You could click on this link. You could head to the Collaborate UE tab on the left, where what you'll see is a list of all of those feedback meeting rooms. Right now they're ghosted out, but about half an hour before your meeting time, that will open up. And if you're wanting to, once again, test your technology before getting into the room, you can always head into this Test Collaborate space to check out what it will look like and see if everything's working just fine with your technology. One final way you might access the space is through an email that you'll receive from either Beth or I with that final reminder of the date and time and a link, a hyperlink to the space. So we've had some questions about what might be expected when it comes to that feedback meeting time and your time with the group in Blackboard Collaborate. So here's a bit of a diagram as to the cycle that we will go through. When we first join in the meeting, all of us from that mini group will be in that one space, and we're going to spend dedicated time on each person and their mini lesson, going through something of this cycle. So starting off with the first volunteer, Beth or I will facilitate that individual coming over into a separate Blackboard Collaborate space where it's just you and I, or just you and Beth, so that a conversation can be held. We can ask some guiding questions to you, and you'll have the opportunity to reflect on your experiences as an instructor of your mini lesson. Towards the end of that one-on-one time, you'll have the chance to brainstorm some questions that you would like to pose to your learners, because we will then rejoin, through the magic of the internet, the mini lesson group, the larger group really, so that it will be your facilitator, you, and your other mini lesson participants, so your learners, and you'll have the chance to debrief with those learners, pose the questions that that you're curious and wanting some feedback on, and this is all facilitated by either Beth or I, so that we can help frame that conversation. So we will engage in multiple rounds of this cycle for each person in that mini lesson group before concluding with some final reflections and a bit of a celebration. So, what to bring and what to prepare. First off, we will be holding this in Blackboard Collaborate UE, so much like that first introductory meeting, you'll want to make sure that your speakers are working fine so that you can hear us, your microphone, and as well as your webcam. I know that some people for the introductory meeting didn't worry too much about whether or not their webcam was working, but in this more intimate face-to-face time, it's nice to have webcams working so that we can really engage with one another in that smaller mini lesson group. It's also important to bring two key things with you, all related to the ISWO lesson reflection forms. So you're going to have really two piles. One pile with sheets for each of the lessons that you participated in, and your reflections as a learner on the other group members, your other facilitators or instructors. You're also going to have completed one of those lesson reflection forms based on your own thoughts of your facilitation or instruction of your own mini lesson. So just a slight difference, but have those lesson reflections on hand because they will help to maybe refresh your memory of what those lessons were like and what sort of feedback you wanted to give to the instructors, as well as frame that conversation of the one-on-one based on your own mini lesson and your reflections as an instructor. If you have not already received an email from either Beth or I, we have two questions that we would like to pose to you from your perspective as an instructor. So first off, what have been your goals as an instructor of your mini lesson? What were you initially aiming to accomplish with the facilitation of your mini lesson? And a second question, which we'll have time to talk about together, is what questions might you have for your learners about their engagement with your mini lesson that you would like to pose to that group during your feedback session? So if you can give some thought to both of these questions before that feedback meeting time and date, that would be great. Even better, feel free to email Beth or I and reply with some of your thoughts on that so that we can get a sense as to what you're hoping to talk about and get out of that feedback session.